I'm Kate.
I'm Elle.
We are down to Fae, and today we're yapping about Queen of Shadows, chapters 65 through 72.
If you're interested in our standalone book reviews and discussions, we posted a Discovery of Witches last week, and this Thursday, Guild by Raven Kennedy will be up.
And this morning, we met a friend who we met through the podcast for coffee. And I love that we're becoming like a destination in Nashville. Like when you guys are planning itineraries, like you can go to the Country Music Hall of Fame, you can go to Broadway, and then you have to see us.
Yeah, say come see the sites and us.
Yeah,
It was a lot
we're
of
part
fun.
of the sites now.
We had some great conversations just about our lives, but also about books and reading and stories. It was so fun.
And then we've all, I hope, finished washing off our clown makeup for thinking that we would actually get an ACOTAR announcement on March 20th. Like, you're not as chronically online as me, but there were all these theories about like there was a trading update from the publisher on March 20th, which is also the first day of spring. Spring Court, Elaine, like we did this last year. It was the exact same day last year we thought it was going to happen.
It's perfect timing for SJM. Like, where is the information?
It has to be so. On May 22nd, I think.
Okay.
There is going to be that's what it is. It's the ACOTAR 10th anniversary.
Okay.
So maybe
Good
that's
Lord.
when it's going to be. And then
I hope
when's
so.
what is Kallenmai?
Oh.
Is actually like a real day? Maybe then. I don't know. We're just like grasping. It would like at least give us something. A title, a date, anything.
I say we're waiting and praying really hard, please.
So I'll just see y'all on May 23rd, the day after our next delusion is scheduled for, when we're again like washing off our clown makeup.
Oh, well, in equally important news, Kate actually DNF'd a book.
God, I feel so bad. I don't know why in my head the author's like getting a notification that I stopped listening.
How dare she?
Well, I'm sure it's a good book, and a lot of people like it. Like, it's a book talk favorite. And I just want to be fully transparent because I did talk about it, but I just could not get into the Everking. And it could have been the audiobook narration because I told you guys that it was like aggressively British. And it could be like where I was mentally when I was listening. I don't know, but I found myself forcing myself to listen. And I'm like, what am I? Like, this isn't 10th grade in Moby Dick. Like, I don't have to finish this. If I'm like, what am I doing reading if I'm not enjoying it?
I am so proud of you.
It's
very freeing to DNF a book.
It
you know what? I
is.
don't have to. Not beholden to anybody.
And so I started a new book, Trial of the Sun Queen, and it is my new personality.
Here we go.
I'm not going to go on a full tangent because I'm sure it's going to be a book review in the future, but I would describe it as a combination of Throne of Glass, Hunger Games, and The Bachelor. And this was actually a listener submitted recommendation a long time ago, like maybe a year ago, but I just now started it and I did the audiobook. And so, like, very Throne of Glass, you start with a girl who's in this, it's like a mysterious, it's like a prison, I guess.
Okay.
And so instead of Endovier Salt Mines, you have this prison, and it's a girl with a mysterious background that's been heavily hinted at. It's not quite as, I mean, I think it's pretty fucking obvious who she is, what she is, but she's been locked in this prison since she was a child, which is weird.
Yeah.
And then she's thrown into this tournament. There's a grumpy guard. The king is actually attractive in this one. I don't trust him.
Okay.
And she's competing. So the FMC lore is competing to be the Sun Queen, and the Sun King, who is like this powerful, beautiful Fae male, is so into her. And everyone's like, why is he totally into this ordinary girl?
Why is there a competition for his wife?
Well, yeah,
like,
that's another thing.
Because
he seems like very sweet and caring, but also this is very barbaric. And like women are dying in this competition, and you're still happy. Like, it's basically torture. And I think it's going to be like, I know there's a lot of examples, but Flesh and Fire had he was the primal of life, and he's like golden and beautiful and everyone loves him, and he turns out to be the bad guy. You know, like I think it's going to be that kind of thing where the dark and broody prince from another kingdom that we've had a couple POVs from, I think it's going to turn out that he's the MMC.
Okay.
And they did just introduce the existence of fated mates.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I'm listening. And right now we're at a masked ball, and the prince and the FMC are there. This is the first time they've been in the same place at the same time.
Okay.
So like, I'm kicking my feet and giggling, waiting for them to meet, because I'm hoping that he gets super jealous seeing her dancing with Atlas, who's the Sun King.
Okay.
And we've got a little bit of spice so far. I've read that it gets a lot spicier. So I'm going to keep everyone updated because she is kind of falling for the Sun King. Like the spice is with him.
Oh, I'm sure he's probably love bombing her. And considering where she's been, she's like, this is amazing.
Well, and what kind of not gets on my nerves, but it's not as bad as, I'm going to say it's actually worse than Throne of Glass with this.
Oh, okay.
So we knew there was something that Celaena was hiding from us, even though we were inside her head.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how this is. Like if I get to the end of the book and she is who I think she is, it's going to be a little annoying because she spent the whole book being like, why would he want me, a normal girl? But if she's actually this person I think she is, what are you talking about? Of course, that's why he wanted you.
Well, Celaena also knew who she was. Mm-hmm. So, like, if this girl's pretending ignorance when she's clearly got a few things about her that are different, like,
I think she knows that what's been hinted is that she knows who she is, and she would be like the missing heir to this destroyed kingdom.
Huh.
And she has like a piece of a ruby or a jewel that it's just there's too many signs for that not to be the case.
Okay.
And for her to know.
Well, we'll stay tuned because we're curious.
Yeah. And of course, I got into it a couple of weeks ago. I got this email from Fairy Loot that was like, do you want to pre-order that series? Yeah. And I was like, no, I haven't read it. And now I got into it and it sold out. And I'm like, fuck.
Hopefully they'll make it available again.
But IKEA finally refunded. But I didn't ask for a refund, and they didn't tell me that my order was canceled or anything. I just saw the money back in my account. I was like, what's going on?
Should you place a new order for the bookshelves?
I don't know if I trust them anymore.
Yeah.
And maybe if I like physically go to the Memphis IKEA or something. I don't know.
Memphis is like
so right now,
3 hours
from
here.
Shelves. I don't even have shelves to put these books I'm getting on.
Well, same. Mine are stacked somewhere, and I'll have to figure out what to do with all those.
I also had an Alani and 2 coffees this morning. I feel like I'm having a heart attack.
Hopefully.
I could run a marathon right now.
I know. Hopefully I'm also drinking a Celsius. So hopefully like this is fun and exciting, but also I don't talk too fast or like.
Yeah, I apologize if all of that came out like word vomit.
Well, and it's killing me because I feel like I read The Trial of the Sun Queen, and then as you talk about it, I'm like, maybe I did it. I'm very confused because it's not jogging my memory. So maybe I need to read it too.
It's similar to a lot of things we've read, but like the first trial you think is going to be easy because it's trivia.
Yeah.
But then they're suspended in the air, like hanging on by ropes, and if they get something wrong, they're dropped down. And it's about the history of this Fae kingdom they're in that this girl's never even been to before. So she's like, I don't know any of this shit. But then he kind of like, the Sun King keeps helping her.
Okay.
And you're like, that's weird. Like, why does he want her to win so badly? And so the Sun Queen will bond with the Sun King.
Okay.
And I don't know if that means they have access to each other's magic. And maybe she has locked away a bunch of magic or something. I don't know.
Maybe
these are all just guesses.
I was going to say, maybe there's something he can scent about her or like there's some kind of prophecy that he knows and the others don't.
Maybe.
Interesting.
He did go down on her.
Okay.
That's the spice we've gotten so far, but it was good.
I don't hate it. Okay.
And he was very like, no, I want to take care of you. This isn't about me. And I was like, I don't trust this fucking guy.
Well, I've gone down a rabbit hole with KF Breen books. Like we're going to do these book recommendations in May, I think, because we have enough weeks to go over multiple series. And I was going to go over one of the series just to like make notes for a book rec. And then I'm in deep. I started just totally re-listening to it. I'm like, okay, so I've been listening to Demon Days, Vampire Nights, but I need to get back to reading Ruin of Roses.
Well, you have a lot of time now that we don't have porn in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's cleared your calendar.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone has heard, but we can't access porn in Tennessee right now.
This is one of our hot topics. We were having a discussion with Ashley at coffee this morning. You can't access any porn because you have to show proof of your age, but like I guess the websites don't have a method to do the authentication, so I just can't get anything good.
And that is not something that she read on the news. That is something she personally found. She's done the legwork. You can still access Quinn, thank God. So we have our audio.
I'm sure if I like signed up for a website and like signed up for an account.
But who wants to give your information?
I don't want people to know who I am. Clean everything out immediately after I watch stuff. So that's annoying.
So yeah, you've had a lot of time.
I guess I'll have to like read books to find my spice again, which is fine, just different. Well, after all the excitement, we're going to pick back up in Queen of Shadows, chapter 65, with Rowan recovering from the arrow he took for Aelin during her fight with Manon in Oakwald Forest.
And Chaol is outside, mouth breathing, just looking in the window, like not so easy doing anything, especially recovering without magic, is it?
Yeah, so there. Speaking of Chaol, he hasn't been able to reach Ress and Brillo lately. And
concerning.
What?
Concerning.
Oh, they said, what's her name? I was like, what? Sorry. He hasn't been able to reach Rest and Brullo lately, and as if shit isn't bleak enough already, over half the rebels have fled, and even more Valg soldiers have gentrified Rifthold.
It's kind of like the way Californians are inflating Nashville real estate, but
Mm-hmm.
the Valg are inflating the number of executions per day because I think it's up to 3 a day in
Yeah.
like multiple locations.
Which is insane. But also, I know that hindsight is 2020 and we know what's happening, but I had a real moment where like, Chaol, the king has constantly been replacing his sentries with the ones in the black uniforms that all have Valg, and we all know they're Valg. You haven't been able to reach Rest or Brullo. You should be a lot more concerned than you are, because why? He knows you're a traitor. Why would he allow your men to stay in the castle? One, you're a traitor, so he's going to get back at him. But even if you weren't a traitor, he's replacing everybody with Valg, like foot soldiers. So like, again, why would they get to stay for long? I don't know. It's not his fault. You know, he's trying to save people. He is. But I
If
just
it's
had
not
this moment
his
of
fault,
like, ugh.
it's like the way he blames Aelin for stuff. Then if you think the things that have happened, that's her fault, then yeah, this is your fault.
Yeah. If we're following that same train of thought, then yeah, you should have done something. I'm just kidding. It's so sad, especially going back and rereading it. I'm like, no, not Rest. Meanwhile, a male scent wakes Rowan.
Lorcan walks in and Rowan's like, I thought I told you we couldn't do this again. And Lorcan says, as if you don't want this as much as I do. And scene. But hypothetically, who would bottom in a situation of Lorcan and Rowan?
I think probably Rowan.
That's crazy. I mean, if out of those two.
Rowan has top mentality, but he also is like not toxic masculinity, and he's very like chill in a lot of ways.
Lorcan would be like, no, I'm the man.
Yeah. And I feel like Rowan would be like, I can switch it. Whatever. Yeah. Lorcan says that he killed all of the word hounds.
You know, the ones who started chasing him after Aelin tricked him into a confrontation in the sewers. But yeah, Lorcan totally seems like the kind of guy that would just let that shit slide. He's like, yeah, I'm over it. That's fine.
And again, I know I've read this, so hindsight is 2020, but I had a moment where I was like, one, we think that Lorcan can just kill 7 word hounds. It's not a big deal.
It was like, okay, now we know they can die, but 7?
7, I mean, like, that's a lot to take.
And he's just standing here. He's fine. He's not like...
You don't even see any wounds on him. Meanwhile, Rowan's standing there with his arm in a sling. Like, no problem. Killed them all. But also, I don't know, maybe it's just like the fact that I'm type A. I'm very much like, trust but verify.
Yeah.
You know, just... There's a lot riding on hoping he killed them all. You guys should really check on that.
I agree.
He's there to follow up on his offer to trade the word key / amulet of Orinth for Athryl's Valg-resistant ring.
They trade insults instead of fluids, unfortunately. And when Rowan says hanging out with the off-brand cadre is better than being leashed by a psychotic master, Lorcan asks, is that all the circle jerk was to you? And he seems a little butthurt.
Yeah.
Like it kind of hurt his feelings. And he says, I didn't hear you complaining when we were destroying cities and pussies. I hate saying that word, actually. When we were destroying cities. And women. Females.
It does feel weird to have that word come out of my mouth, especially on a mic. But yeah, is that deep, Lorcan? Like, we're just surviving.
I think that he would never admit it, but I think that kind of hurt his feelings.
Well, those
are his friends.
That's all Lorcan has. And I don't think Rowan really thought much about it after his mate died. And this is just what it is. But like, guys, that's not like a really deep bonding. You're just like, you're forced to be around each other and like work together. But I don't know.
I think Lorcan cares more than he's letting on, because what he does at the end of this book is for a member of the cadre.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, they clearly mean something to him. Like he has, I guess, honor is what you would call it. Not as much loyalty. He's loyal to Maeve, but he still has like, he's not totally bad.
I guess also the way that Lorcan has been living with the cadre, like none of them have really questioned it. So to have like somebody that he's been close to for like hundreds of years be like, you know what, this is not okay. There's a moment of he's like, what do you mean? Like, I don't think he's really thought enough about it to be like, we should be doing something different, or this should be different.
Well, how many of us have been in shitty, toxic relationships that you defend to other people when they like call you out on it? And you're like, no, he's not actually as bad. He was just in a bad mood that day, you know?
Well, like, even if like to each other, they're always like, oh, she's on another tirade. Like, they're still like, I guess they are still bonded together. And he can't believe that Rowan would trade that in for any reason.
Because admitting it would be like then you have to do something about it.
Well,
So it's easier to just be delusional and be like, I'm happy, it's fine.
well, if that's all you know, I guess you don't know that there's something better out there because you don't know what to like
Well,
look
especially with
for.
his background,
Yeah.
like where he comes from and his sad little story, then I mean, it's kind of like not grooming, but he doesn't know what a healthy relationship looks like. We've really read Lorcan. I'm
Well,
putting a lot of thought into this guy.
considering where he grew up on the streets as Demi-Fae, and then now he's like the second in command under Maeve, like he really came a long way. He's been very elevated.
Mm-hmm.
So like what else is there to question?
Yeah.
He specifically asks Rowan if Aelin knows about Solimare, and that's a story that's shared in the bonus chapter from Heir of Fire.
And the story isn't super important, but I fucking hate the idea of people not having access to parts of stories because they don't own every special edition out there. Because especially now, like House of Flame and Shadow, how many special editions were there? I hate that. So this is what Rowan word for word says about this city in the bonus chapter. Solimare was a place so wicked, full of monstrous people who did such unspeakable things that even Maeve was disgusted by them. She gave them a warning to stop their ways and said that if they ... there are some acts that are unforgivable, and I won't stain this room by mentioning them. But she swore to them that if they continued to do it, she would obliterate them. Are we all thinking butt stuff?
I'm thinking something with children.
Oh,
Like, because unforgivable, like, we're
yeah,
going to
you're
go
right.
way past that.
We got out as many children as we could with our legion, and when they were safely away, Lorcan and I leveled it and seen. So that's what he had to say about Solimare, that Lorcan is kind of throwing in his face now of, oh, Aelin doesn't really know you like I know you, you know? Like you're not, you think, because he's not really understanding how deep of a connection that Aelin and Rowan have. I don't think he could really comprehend that yet.
Well, if that's the situation too, Lorcan is like, are you embarrassed to tell her, what, did I kill this city under like Maeve's command? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't lash out because I'm a brute. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like he made this terrible decision on his own to just kill people.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really understand what would be shameful about it. But okay. It does sound a little like the cities Sodom and Gomorrah.
Those cities, like you're totally right, they were destroyed by two probably hot angels. And just quick tangent about how fucked that story was.
Yeah.
So, for those of you without religious trauma, God tells Abraham that Sodom has a reputation for wickedness. And Abraham's like, so you're going to kill everyone? God's like, word. You find 10 decent people and I will spare the city. God sends two angels to Abraham's nephew Lot's house, and people surround the house and they demand that he surrender his visitors so they can, quote, know them.
Ooh.
Insane, right? But to me, the worst part is Lot, to get the mob to go away, to disperse. He offers them his virgin daughters to do to them as you please. How fucked up is that?
What?
That's his like, what is the word I'm looking for? Placating, I guess.
Are you supposed to be the nice guy? Like, what the heck what?
Yeah, to save the visitors. I think the story has been a little twisted by people who are homophobic, but it's really about not being hospitable.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, those cities were leveled like this Solimare.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's an insane story.
You're welcome.
Yeah. It does sound like there was something very iffy going on there.
But it sounds a lot like this. Like I think that she drew a little inspiration and inserted Rowan and Lorcan as the two angels.
Oh, sure. Well, also, the more we know about Maeve, were horrific things truly happening there, or did they slight her in some way? And so,
yeah, there's no way to know.
It could have been something else that she was like, no, they have to go. This has to be done. We do get a little bit more Lorcan lore here. He was a discarded bastard child living on the streets of Doranel who was #blessed by Hellas himself.
Hellas being this world's Hades or devil, ruler of the underworld and consort of Aneth. And who is blessed by Aneth?
Am I supposed to answer?
Yeah.
We know?
We do know. I think we know.
Well, actually, yeah, I think they've referenced that already for a lead. Like Aneth whispering to her.
Interesting.
A little foreshadowing. Lorcan pushes for the trade. Like, can you imagine if the king puts a collar on Aelin and sells her to Maeve and she gets a word key?
So Rowan throws the Timu amulet at Lorcan, who throws the ring at him. And I guess this is when Lorcan rips a piece of Rowan's cloak off.
Yeah, but like they're throwing things at each other.
When did they ever get close enough for him to do that without Rowan even noticing? I guess if he cuts it off real quick, but still, like maybe when he's passing by, I guess.
No, I think Lorcan had to have already done it, right? Because
No,
this
because
is
that
like
would have been noticed. Someone would have been like, "Why is part of your cloak missing?" Aelin doesn't notice it until after this. I don't know.
I don't know either because
Maybe it was before.
Lorcan's sneakier than we expect.
Mm-hmm.
Rowan and Aelin LOL at how mad Lorcan will be when he figures out that the amulet is fake.
It has the Val Commander's ring inside of it, so I'm assuming they did that so it has like an otherworldly feel.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, let's stop pissing off this psychotic guy. Like, they keep fucking with him, and then they're surprised when something happens.
I just love that Lorcan is trying to tell Rowan, like, we both know I'm the only one that could get this done. Beesh, you got some magic.
Beesh.
All right,
Lorcan.
bitch.
Beesh.
You got some magic, but you're nowhere near Aelin's magic.
Yeah.
Also, you're not as connected through like family lines. Why do you think you're the best one to handle this? Like, you're not related to Brandon, who originally hid the keys. Like, why would you be better at this? But he's like, it clearly needs to be me.
I'm assuming he looks at her and sees a child because she is a child, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's also totally fair. He didn't spend much time with her to know that she's got more going on. Then we have a quick little Dorian POV. He's thinking about Manon, and the demon tells him, we do not speak of the descendants of our kings. Okay. Then we cut to Aelin and Chaol on the roof of the warehouse.
Chaol's there to run through tomorrow's plan one last time, but instead, Aelin asks him to join her on the roof alone. And this is the most mature and honest conversation they've had, not just in this book, but in the entire series. When Aelin promises that she won't unnecessarily endanger anyone, Chaol says he knows.
Yeah, and she's like shook. She's like,
I know, she's like prepared herself, like steeling herself for some tude.
I mean, considering he told her she's a monster, they've grown a lot since she first came back to Rifthold. He also says that he doesn't regret sacrificing so much to get Aelin to Winland.
Which all of that had to happen, like plot-wise, obviously, but Chaol also had to be pushed to really see who he was blindly serving.
And even then, it took further pushing for him to like really grasp.
It's been painful.
Everybody has a different learning curve. Just because he's not wearing a uniform anymore doesn't make Chaol any less honorable or any less Chaol.
When Chaol left the Glass Castle, he left so much of his identity there, like he was his job. Then he filled that void with the dream of saving and serving Dorian. So with that gone, now that Dorian's possessed, like he's just been empty and angry and lashing out. And unfortunately, Aelin was the target most of the time.
Well, and she was an easier target for him because I guess he felt she could take it. I don't know. He was also just mad and jealous.
Yeah.
Aelin apologizes for what she said to Chaol on the docks before she left for Winland, that she would always choose him.
And Celaena probably would always choose Chaol, but Celaena never really existed. But even so, what they had still means something to Aelin. And I think that's what Chaol needed to hear, you know, that it was like we actually had something.
He's very understanding when they have this conversation because he's like, I'm not sure that you were really accepting that either. And she's like, yeah, I know.
Well, it's like he grew so much in Crown of Midnight, and then we kind of lost it, and then he's coming back around.
Yeah, he's had to let go of the hurt feelings, and I think he's growing some more now that he's let those go. It's the conversation that they really should have had months ago.
And even though Chaol has probably been workshopping comebacks and digs every day in the shower, or I guess they take baths. Well, it's such an ick thinking about a guy in a bathtub. But he tells her, instead of all the comebacks that he's probably come up with, that she deserves to be happy. And Chaol deserves happiness too, like with Nezran. She's like, wink, wink.
Go for it, buddy. Chaol asks, what if we go on only to find more pain and despair? What if we go on only to find a horrible end waiting for us?
Then it is not the end. Those are some fucking deep thoughts for a 19-year-old. Can you imagine 19-year-old you in this situation? What if we go on a horrible end waiting for us? I'd be like...
19 and 20-year-old Elle was very anxious. Would have been a full spiral moment for me. After meeting with the remaining 20 rebels left in Rifthold, Chaol and Nezran walk along the Avery. Chaol thinks back to when he and Dorian went to parties at houses along the river, like an Assassin's Blade when Dorian and Celaena had a moment.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, it's in The Assassin in the Underworld, and we have episodes for each of the Assassin's Blade stories too. But Celaena and Sam attend a masquerade at a mansion along the Avery, and she and Dorian have a little moment. And there's also a bonus scene called The Captain and the Prince. Chaol and Dorian are talking about the competition, so it's between that. It's like right before Throne of Glass. Chaol and Dorian talking about the competition and who the prince should choose as his champion. Arobyn's name is actually thrown out there, but then Dorian says Celaena Sardothien after he feels a cool northern wind scented with pine and snow. Of course, Chaol's like, that's a terrible idea, but then they agree to travel to Endovier to check it out.
I've never read that. Where's this scene? Is it a bonus chapter somewhere?
I don't know if it's a bonus or a deleted scene, but yeah, I'll find it. I'll find it and post it, but it's called The Captain and the Prince. But it's just like one chapter.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I also get all my books on Kindle a lot of the time. And
Yeah, this was definitely like a physical.
I'll say I'm just now getting around to buying like pretty hardbacks. So I probably missed it in like a special edition or something just because I was reading Kindle instead.
It doesn't really add anything to the story other than there was definitely something more to Dorian choosing Celaena. Like he was maybe pushed a little bit by fate, by the gods, by something.
It's also interesting that Arobyn was on that list of potential because
can you imagine Arobyn in that competition? He would have fucking hated it.
But we also keep wondering, like, if the king knows about the Assassin's Guild and why he lets them all just live there. So clearly they know about them. They just, I guess, don't know their location. Interesting. Chaol and Nesryn walk to the temple of the sea god, who is also the god of oaths, and sit at the bench facing south.
Chaol finally asks Nesryn about herself and learns that she has traveled to the southern continent a few times to visit family, but she never felt at home in Rifthold or Antica, the largest city on the southern continent.
And where the Torre Sesme is... Chesme? Shoot, I forgot. And where the Torre Sesme is located. Chaol slides closer and interlaces their fingers, and Nesryn makes him promise to walk out of the castle tomorrow.
Sarah. Back at the apartment, Rowan is going over tomorrow's plan in his head. He and the Aedian will take the Hellfire through the sewer tunnels into the castle itself using a secret entrance they found thanks to the Wordhounds.
Who Lorcan said he'd killed.
So it's all fine.
We don't want to check on this at all?
Like because of that, the Wordhounds aren't even factored into any of this planning. Like they could right now be scouting ahead, but they just take his word for it. Once they place the vats of Hellfire and light the fuse, they are knees to chest out of there before it blows. But that's not the scariest part for Rowan. The scariest part for him is that he's not going to be with Aelin when she confronts the king and Dorian for her part of the plan. So like is it a fork? They're like about to go different directions.
Yeah. A fork in the road, a divergence in their paths. Because he's her protector. And this is the scariest thing she could ever do. And he won't be able to be right there with her. Aelin interrupts his thoughts when she walks into the bedroom in a metallic gold nightgown.
Shit has changed, or really like they've never actually just been friends who casually share a bed, but they've at least admitted it now. Rowan tells her that she deserves more than him, a ripped, beautiful, tattooed Fae prince, but he doesn't get to tell her what she does or doesn't deserve.
They share a whisper of a kiss, the answer to a question that he'd asked for centuries. Then she steps away.
She finally got him ready to say fuck Aedian and these thin walls, but he only gets the rest if they live through tomorrow. And spoiler alert, it doesn't happen then either.
I mean, I was re-listening to this scene this morning because like I just get so frustrated with how many times they like to edge us with the two of them.
It is edging.
But also, like, I think that if they had actually like hooked up on this night, it would have been like sad. Like they're saying goodbye. They're giving up.
But what if they had died? I mean, I'm not going to spoiler free. Maybe they do both die. But what if they had, and then it's like Dorian and Sorsha?
I mean, like, it is what it is, though. Like, I mean,
you gotta fuck when you can.
Somebody will be dead. I know. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I was annoyed. It's just being right on the edge of like terrible things happening. I don't know. It's making it too real. It's almost easier not to like, because then whether they want to or not, they're saying goodbye to each other just in case. And I guess I think
easier. That's a great way to say goodbye or see you later.
I'm guessing it's easier for them to be like, yeah, we'll just see you later. Don't say the words. You know, that's in a book. As I like
not to say goodbye.
Yeah,
see you later.
What is that in?
I think it's a movie.
Probably. Okay. Well, sorry before I like lose myself in that side tangent. I could understand, as much as I hate the way they edge us, why they're not taking this route. And then Aelin says, "You make me want to live, Rowan. Not survive, not exist, live."
Then they climb into bed, and Rowan's dick twitches against her ass all night, probably. Aelin wakes early the next morning and goes to the market where she finds a message from Banksy, witch killer. The human is still inside him. Ooh. I would be like, what? I don't know if I would. I don't think I'm smart enough. Be like, Dorian? Manon?
I mean, I don't know. I was so excited reading that. I was like, hell yeah, what are we going to do?
Yeah, but it also changes things, but then it immediately doesn't. Like, it changes the plan, and then they, like, change it back, right?
Well, we still don't have a way to help him. We know that he's in there, but she's going to have her magic before she can begin to do anything else. Mm-hmm. Although, being Aelin, you know there's always something cooking in the back of her mind.
Always.
Cut to Aelin and Chaol helping Rowan and Aedion carry 2 urns of hellfire into the sewers.
And this is when Aelin notices that torn piece of Rowan's cloak. And I guess they're just like, oh, that could have gotten snagged on something. It's not like a huge red flag.
I mean, I catch a dress that's flowing on everything. I don't know how they walk around in cloaks like it's normal.
Oh, you know what the worst is? When you're walking out of the house and a purse or something gets caught on the doorknob.
I was about to say,
it makes me want to scream.
Caught on every freaking door latch. Or even just when we went to the fantasy ball, that dress like dragged the floor and got caught on. Oh
my God. I kept stepping on people's dresses because they were just so long.
Well, my dress got caught on everybody else's dress. Like if you had any kind of sequins, like the material, like I was stuck to everybody. I would ruin a cloak easily. Aelin looks at the 3 males who mean everything, more than everything to her, and says, "Let's go rattle the stars."
Dorian's like, "I'll just go fuck myself, I guess." She's like, "These 3 males mean everything."
Oh,
I know, but
baby girl, sorry.
And also the "Let's go rattle the stars," that is from a cartoon movie. I want to say Adventure
Island?
No.
Treasure Island?
Treasure Island?
I don't know.
I know that's from something.
It sounds like it's probably another SJM quote because it sounds like something else.
No, I know for a fact it's from an animated movie. But
rattle the stars.
I mean, it does sound like to the stars that listen and the dreams that are answered.
Yeah, it definitely, there's something, it feels like it was in Crescent City in some word, some fashion, because there's stars is in everything.
There's the word star sword, yeah.
I don't know.
What do they call him? Star. What is she? A star what, Faye? God. That book was my whole personality. It's like I'll read something and it's all I think about. And then a year later, I'm like, what was that?
As you just said that, I'm like, nope, I have no idea. I drew a full blank. But that quote sounds so familiar. It's like making me think of too many other things. Mm-hmm. But it was also like go time. Rowan and Aedion very carefully follow the path the Wordhounds took through the sewer. They reach very old iron gates with word marks, possibly dating all the way back to Gavin when he visited the Sin Eater's temple.
Aedion and Rowan follow the ancient rocky path into the castle catacombs, while up top, Aelin, she slipped back into the King's Champion Celaena. She is leading a chained Chaol to the front doors of the glass castle. This is their big plan.
When they reach the castle fence, they learn why they haven't been able to get messages to Ress and Brullo. 16 of Chaol's men are hanging from the wrought iron bars of the fence.
He's been able to blame others for everything up until this point. Like it was Aelin's fiery return in Wendlyn caused this, or like you rescuing Aedion caused that. But this is a message for Chaol specifically. This is because you participated in the rebellion, because you were a rebel, you know?
Oh, you know what else? I just had a thought. Lorcan hints at this. Thank you for giving me credit. Lorcan hints at this to Rowan. When they're doing their little exchange, Lorcan says something about hanging somebody up by the castle gates. And
Does he?
Yeah, Rowan just like brushes it off like...
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he's like, he can visualize it, I guess, based on things he's seen in other cities, but he doesn't realize that Lorcan is talking about something that's currently happened. Because Lorcan does say something about why Chaol is trying to get a hold of the guards. So like Lorcan is hinting at things and everybody's distracted and not thinking too much on his words.
Yeah, with no porn, you clearly have all this access to like have deep thoughts.
Thank you. I make it sound like I watch porn all the time.
So much more time now.
I looked it up one time. Gosh.
Yeah, right.
Anyway. Oh, we're talking about Chaol, the fence. Really more important things. Kaol then, after seeing his men, tells Aelin that the plan has changed. We don't know exactly what he plans yet or like what the change is,
Mhm.
just that it from what it was, just that it brings Aelin to tears and she promises to make it count.
But can we talk about the, I guess, parallel, like the full circle moment, the symbolism, I guess, of how we start with this entire series, like the captain of the guards, a man whose entire personality is his job, and he is leading a chained assassin through these gates, these same gates. So now Aelin, Queen of Terrasen, is leading a chained and unemployed Chaol through them.
A man
Like
without a
it's just
country.
it's just crazy to think like where we started and where we are now.
It's also crazy that it's been less than a year since that all like
That's
started.
actually insane. Yeah.
I mean, it's not as quick as like Crescent City where it all happens in a week,
2 weeks. Yeah.
but still, no one stops Celaena because, and this is wild, she's weeks early from when she was expected to return from Windland.
She assumes the king thinks that she has been in Windland fucking shit up on his behalf this whole time. She has been fucking shit up.
Yeah.
But not as the king's champion.
But there's no reason for her not to be at the castle. There's nothing to like sound an alarm. So they're like, oh, it's the king's champion, whatever. Aelin and Chaol walk through the quiet and deserted castle, the queen and most of the court MIA, and into this council room. Side note, if they're like killing people in the streets 3 times a day, I'm not going to hang out in this city.
No, I'm at my summer house too.
I'm a run from it. This is nuts. They walk into the council room where the king is sitting on the glass throne and Dorian. What's wrong with my mouth? Dorian is standing beside him.
Start that part again.
They walk into the council room where the king is sitting on the glass throne and Dorian is standing beside him.
Dorian thinks that he recognizes his friends, like he's trying to remember who they are, but the demon just has too much control at this point. And it seems like he doesn't, because when Manon is around, the demon hides. But before that, Dorian had just kind of given up, right? Like the barrier wasn't even there anymore.
I think he let the demon get too much strength when he was emotionally weak.
It's interesting what Kaltain was able to do versus Dorian, right?
Poor Kaltain, I feel like she'd already been beat down so much that she didn't have any fear left in her. And Dorian, baby girl, is very emotional. And so I think the demon, I mean, like everything had just happened for Dorian. So he was in his mourning. He didn't even get to mourn properly. So that
it kind of shows you the difference in men and women, though, with how Kaltain like
also
laid in wait and took little bites and then destroyed him and took over, and Dorian's just like huddled in a corner.
I mean, if it hadn't been for the fact that Manon looks like a king, like I think that's the only reason she's able to push the demon back, because the demon otherwise is like, no, I'm in charge.
Also, what makes me laugh, Aelin is trying to hide her identity. Like she put makeup around her eyes to, I don't know, change their color. And she dyes her hair like it's an episode of Undercover Boss. Like when the boss comes in that show and it's just a person wearing a wig and everyone's like, who is she? Like,
oh, are you new here?
I'm a little surprised that they really thought that the king wouldn't put it together who she is. I mean, I know he didn't for a long time, but it's just kind of wild they thought they were going to get away with this.
Well, it's wild because in some scenes she's successful as she's playing somebody else or like changing something or manipulating something and nobody is the wiser. And and then sometimes like it's like, what do you think you're doing? You look silly. I can see through that.
She hands the king the seal rings of Windland. She's still pretending like she's killed the royal family like she was sent there to do. But weird eye makeup is not going to fool the king. He knows exactly who this bitch is.
Yikes.
Say what you will about the king, sense of humor.
Yeah, he doesn't play around. Down in the catacombs, Rowan and Aideen are quickly but very carefully carrying the vats of hellfire while also dealing with headaches and nosebleeds caused by the word stone of the clock tower.
And I guess that's why they can't scent what's about to happen, because their senses are so overwhelmed by the word stone that they don't know what's coming up on them.
Well, I mean, as you say that, the area probably already smells like the word hounds because that's where they would live.
Yeah.
So it smells maybe how they expect it to. I don't know.
As they're unrolling the fuse, something drips on Rowan's shoulder, but it's not an ear bleed. Something is on the ceiling. 7 somethings. Oof. Lorcan never killed the word hounds, but he did give them Rowan's scent using that torn piece of his cloak.
Like that's
fucking got him. He got y'all.
Now that you said that, you're like, when did Lorcan get his cloak? I'm like, when did he get his fucking cloak?
I'm sure that everyone listening is like, he got it. I mean, it's obvious when he got it. I just can't I do not recall.
You know what? Please feel free to share with us when that time was.
Speaking of do not
I've
recall,
forgotten.
I started a new show on Netflix called Adolescence.
Okay.
It's really good. So it's British. No, it is UK, I guess.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. They have like it's almost Irish sounding accent. Brad Pitt's an executive producer.
Okay.
So it's this 13-year-old who was accused of killing a classmate.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, actually.
Yeah, and everyone's been talking about it. And I watched the first episode last night and it was really good. But the kid is way smarter than he should be. So I'm pretty sure he's guilty.
Uh-oh.
But he has learned like no comment or I do not recall. So when the police are asking this little 13-year-old questions, he's answering like that.
It's not funny, but like that made me think of Lysandra talking about the way that what is her ward's name? I just drew a blank.
Oh, Evangeline.
Evangeline. The way Evangeline will answer her. I should not like to.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Lysandra. I should not like that.
Just
I will not.
very like formal.
It's very proper.
But it's good. Oh, and if anybody is watching White Lotus, hit me with your theories because I have a lot.
Ooh.
I have a lot of theories. It's so good. This
that.
season is very good.
Okay. I mean, I really do need to start that. You've sold me on it. I just keep forgetting to like.
You watched first season too, right? In season 2?
I watched it with you guys. Like we watched it with friends. But we're
going to watch it in Palm Springs.
Okay, well, I'll have to watch it now because whenever we weren't watching it together, I didn't keep up with that one.
When I like something, I force everyone around me to watch it or listen to it or read it.
So much fun. Mm-hmm. I'm just kidding. It's great.
I love giving recommendations, but I've recommended Blood of Hercules. Like I rode so hard for it. And then I've had a couple people be like, like our friend Emily texted me and was like, when does it get interesting? And I was like, where are you? And she was like halfway through the book. I was like,
oh,
I thought it was interesting by that point, but.
Well, I mean, like you have good recommendations, but we also have areas where we have the same interests and areas where we don't. So like, that's a good thing because I get an outside perspective for things I wouldn't necessarily read on my own. And you also give like background that like makes something more enticing.
Thank you.
Because like I'll see something, I'm like, I don't think I want to watch that. And then you give me some hints. I'm like, well, now I got to know what's going to happen. So
my ideal night is like watching things with people and then I just talk over it the whole time, explaining stuff.
Well, it's one of those like, if I haven't seen it, you're really good at like being like, hey, watch for this.
But I hate when you recommend something like we will watch a movie at a friend's house and then everyone's on their phone. I'm like, fucking look up, bitches.
I know. I'm the only
Something's
one that,
about to happen.
Gets roped in. But then at the same time, if it's something that I have seen and you haven't, you can't help yourself. You start asking questions immediately.
I think I'm pretty good at guessing the end of stuff, but whatever. I can't put that on my resume.
I know. Well, now we can't help it because we're such like detectives. Like you start watching anything new, both of us, and we start like asking questions like, ooh, I wonder if it's this because of this. And we have like all these theories before the first episode is over.
Well, it's not even a criticism of, because I'm almost done with Trial of the Sun Queen, but it is very like from, I don't know.
You can guess what's going to happen.
Chapter 2, I was like, well, she's the heir of the Lost Kingdom. Of course, like, I mean, like, why else would that even be mentioned?
I mean, starting Throne of Glass, you could also kind of, it's like, you could tell who Celaena was going to be, but they did enough to like make it interesting.
That one is a little more obvious than Throne of Glass.
Well, and I was going to say, some series, when you can kind of guess who somebody's going to be, there are things happening around them, but it's all going in one direction. Mm-hmm. Like when we first meet Celaena, we don't know where this is going to go because the king seems to have ultimate control. So you're like, okay, so now what? There's no magic.
Well, we weren't introduced to a lot of the world, so it was easier to have like big surprises, where this other one, it's been hinted at too heavily.
Yeah. Well,
but it's still very good.
I'll still read it.
Yeah, I still really, really recommend it and like it.
Well, so that makes it fun though. Like even if I know what's coming, if I can enjoy myself, I'll read it.
And it's dual narration, so there is a man.
A man?
A man. The man has a family. It's from wrestling.
Oh, okay.
There's a wrestling announcer, and like obviously wrestling, not real. And someone would be fake hurt, and he'd be like, "Help him! The man has a family."
Golly. Well, back to the not so surprise reveal.
I know she really thinks that it's going to be like a ta-da.
Well, I mean, there's no reason she would know the level of control the king has over his puppets. We learned the king was able to see what happened. Like he could go through Dorian's mind
Which makes sense.
Yeah, well,
he
like
has control over Dorian.
even knowing that he has some control, like there's no reason she would know that he can literally see into Dorian's mind. But now she
God,
knows.
what all did he see? Because he's also kind of clowning on her about like when she was fucking with Dorian in book 1. Of like, oh, did you get tired of warming my son's bed? And Dorian's like, Dad, stop.
He would also know the extent that things did not happen in the bed. So there's no telling. Maybe it was just like the present day things.
Well, the king is also like, Chaol, you can stop pretending to be a prisoner now. Because Chaol's still just standing there in his chains. It's just embarrassing. Like, respectfully, they both look like clowns right now.
Well, the jig is up, so there goes that.
But doesn't it feel like that happens like I love Aelin, but there's actually like for her to be this like super, I don't know, like the Otterland's assassin, all of that. I feel like she gets caught a lot.
I mean, yes, but to some extent, there's a limit to what she could know. She can't know everything, and she doesn't know the extent of the king's power. So, like, some things she gets caught in that you're like, oh, come on.
Well, also back to Ress and Brullo, I'm assuming that when we got some Dorian POVs and we were watching Torture, and it was like a young guy who seemed to recognize Dorian, I'm assuming that was Ress.
Yeah, well, and the way they mentioned that Brullo's eyes are missing, I'm assuming the section with Dorian where we can tell there's some vice being put on somebody's head that, like, I'm assuming that's what's happening to Brullo.
But then they clearly didn't break. They clearly didn't give anything up. R.I.P. Ress and Brullo.
Oh, no, I loved you guys.
Especially Ress, because he would get so embarrassed.
Ress was so sweet.
He was so sweet.
He was so green.
He deserved more.
The king has also put it together that Aelin knows where the third word key is. He lashes Dorian with darkness. That's awful. And that forces Aelin and Chaol to watch. He's lashing Dorian with darkness as Aelin and Chaol beat against an invisible wall and are thrown back by the word marks that they painted on their bodies for protection.
Aelin pulls out the Eye of Elena, which doesn't just ward against evil, but is itself a key, one that can be used to unlock Erewhon's. I always want to say Erewhon, like the grocery store. His tomb. And this is all part of the big finale, only when the bell rings that it's noon, the clock tower is still standing. So like that was supposed to be the big finale and clock tower goes down.
I mean, I don't think Aelin can afford any more embarrassments. Like
we're so embarrassed. Like we get secondhand embarrassment really easily for people.
I mean, she's like throwing her hand out like
ta-da,
ta-da, and then nothing. Ta-da again. Nothing is happening because Rowan and Aedion are being pushed farther and farther from the spool of fuse by the word hounds.
This is also embarrassing. Rowan is so upset at the thought of Aelin up there waiting on them that he roars, which gives one of the word hounds the opening to get to Aedion. And once they smell that demi-fae blood, they descend on our power bottom like, thanks, Dad. Like, you're telling me they're in the middle of a fight. Rowan, like, I just picture him, like, throwing his head back and roaring, and then Aedion fucking gets it.
Oh, no.
Like, really?
You had to throw your head back. Like, keep your eyes on the prize. Like, there's something important going on. But also just the fact that, like, it's two of them against these word hounds, and they thought Lorcan was going to handle it by himself.
No, that's a good point. I guess they thought that Lorcan was, like, on the run and, like, maybe not taking them all at once. I don't know what they thought, honestly.
Yeah, what was the plan? And then also, how did Lorcan escape?
Good point. I don't know.
Like, is that when he gave them Rowan's cloak?
Yeah, did he just throw it at them and then run and they stopped chasing him?
And they're like, oh, great, this smells better. Like, how does this work?
That's a good point. I don't know.
She should give us like another special chapter just to confirm how this went down.
No, the special chapter has to be sex related.
Well, we can have more than one special chapter. We've got multiple books.
Okay.
As they'd planned after seeing the dead guards, Aelin starts backing toward the glass doors using the Eye of Elena as bait. She brushes past Chaol, a thank you, a goodbye, and something else. Then she runs, Dorian chasing after her.
They have a very Scooby-Doo chase. The king takes a step to follow, but Chaol puts his Crocs in sport mode, raises Damaris, and stands his ground. I have been very critical of Chaol. The Chaol that we got in this book, especially the first part of the book, and I stand by that. But it's like when Rowan was saying, humans are remarkable for going through life without magic. Like the courage it would take to stand in front of the conqueror of the continent with nothing but a sword.
Yeah.
Just to get like, Chaol is assuming that this is his end, and he's okay with that because he just wants to give his friend. I want to cry right now. He just wants to give his friend more time.
I mean,
am I crying for Chaol? Oh my god, it's what's happening? I'm on my period. I'm on my period. I think I lost my tampon in me. I think I put 2 tampons in by accident. I forgot.
Don't try to distract us, Kate.
No, I do think
we
that
see your tears.
I think this like once a month, but I always wonder if I like had a tampon in and then I put another tampon in. That's a fear of mine. I do not want to get toxic shock.
That's fair. That's a terrifying thought. But
also sad about Chaol.
Right. Well, I mean, can you imagine like this? Not only do you not have magic, this king has like demonic magic. Like I cannot do anything against that. You know you're going to die. You know you can't hold him off for long, but you're still going to try. Like,
yeah. Just you and your bowl cut and somebody else's sword.
Oh, but like it is impressive, the courage and the growth that Chaol has had, because he went from blindly serving this fuck to standing up to him.
Chaol's whole personality was loyalty and honor. Like that was his foundation. But his frontal lobe has been developing. His eyes have been opened. Everything he knew and believed in was challenged. And that's so scary. He didn't just have to face the atrocities committed by the man he served, the man that he's standing in front of now, but like he was complicit in all of that. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And he's lashed out and it's been painful, but Chaol went from blindly following orders, like you said, to making choices based on, it's like a new and nuanced understanding of honor and justice. It's not as black and white as magic wielders are bad, fae are bad. Like he has a new understanding of honor, and he's not just standing up to a tyrant, he's standing up to his own former identity. Like it's just a very big moment for him.
That was such a good
read.
Yeah, well, like it's almost like the symbolism. I'm probably using the wrong like word to describe it, but like standing up to like who he was before, and
yeah,
like
it's just as much of standing up to himself, who he was, than standing up to the king.
Yeah, I don't know how to say that was good symbol. Like you drawing that symbolism there was really
Thank
good.
you.
Because I'm like, wow, yeah, you're right. Because I don't know if I took that part away from it when I was reading it before.
Sometimes I have thoughts. It's rare.
I know. When you're
usually I'm like, who's top and who's bottom?
It's clearly us trading off. You're having a thought. Wait, it's my turn.
We share one brain cell. We pass back and forth.
Oh gosh, the in between brain cells. Like, what are we doing here? As Aelin runs down hallways and stairwells, ice is spreading from Dorian. That's terrifying.
Well, we talked about this last week, but even though magic is suppressed in Adarlan, Dorian has access to his, which means the Vogue prince inside of him has access to it, which is what makes possessed Dorian so dangerous, like so much more dangerous than anyone else.
Oh my gosh, because it's not just like
and
whatever.
Sexy.
Of course, naturally, it's not just like whatever power the Vogue prince would have on his own, but like now he has unfettered access to a bottomless pit of magic from Dorian that like can be anything, can be used
raw magic,
any scary kind of way. So like the ice is scary, but we're lucky it's not anything like scarier than that, because Dorian could do just about anything. Aelin runs out onto a glass covered bridge. That sounds terrifying.
It's so hard for me to picture all of this when she's like jumping through windows.
Well, like when we say bridge, I'm like, is it actually a bridge? Like there's sides to it? I'm thinking of like it's a bridge of glass between two buildings, but people aren't meant to actually be on it. Like I feel like she's out on like a turret, not a turret.
See, I'm picturing like spires and there's doors on both sides, and it's like how you go between.
Oh, like somebody
buildings.
Would actually walk through that.
I guess.
Man, I don't know. Because either way, well, whatever I was thinking sounds even more terrifying because you could fall off the edge. So maybe I'm crazy. But even then, like he's got ice shooting down it. So if you could slip through like the side, like depending on how close this is, like you're effed being on glass and then there's ice on top of it.
Well, what have we read that had hoarfrost? Was it the Fever series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Dorian is following, using the hoarfrost to shatter the windows and send glass slicing into Aelin's back. So I guess if you say it like that, with him slicing the windows, this must have been like an actual like tunnel. And I, in my mind, was visualizing something much more terrifying.
No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, it makes more sense. I need a visual representation. Either way, terrifying, because hoarfrost is busting through the glass and they're who knows how many feet in the air. Aelin flings herself through a small window and lands on the open glass bridge a level below.
My hips would be like, nope, we're not going through this window.
All of my joints.
She sprints for the door at the other end of the bridge and races up the spiral stairs until she reaches the top of the tower and the glass footbridge stretching to another spiral. What is going on at this castle?
So you're thinking about...
Did I build this in Sims? Is this like Minecraft?
I know. Well, like you're thinking about your hips getting caught in the window, and I was thinking about my joints when I land.
She says her knees pop. My knees would just cease to exist.
I would just crash through the next bridge. Break all the glass.
I'm just laying there, broken all of my bones.
You're like, well, that didn't go as planned. I would say she's just like up and going.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, in the glass castle, we learned that after Chaol and Aelin saw Manon's graffiti, they planned to try to talk Dorian back into humanity to convince him to fight. But after seeing his men hanging from the gates, Chaol has no interest in talking. All he can do is buy Aelin as much time as possible.
I guess I don't really understand what the plan was and what it was changed to and what it was changed back to.
Well, like, even if they thought they were going to talk Dorian through it, what's the backup when you can't? Like, is Aelin going to already have access to her power? So, like,
well, when Chaol is saying I have no interest in talking, is he on board with killing Dorian because of what happened? Like, what changed for Chaol?
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is I want to know what the original plans were. You know, like, I guess maybe Chaol wanted to ask questions of the king, like once Aelin had her power and like get answers, but Chaol's just big mad now.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. Who is he talking to?
Chaol is taking this stand not just for Dorian and Aelin, but for Ress and Brullo, Sorsha, Aedion, the thousands massacred in the labor camps, and for Nesryn. That's his one regret, the time that they won't have together. Aww. He should probably have some more regrets, but...
saying goodbye to his mom, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I forgot about his mom.
So did he. The king sends waves of darkness toward Chaol, and the word marks covering his skin begin flaking off. I guess whatever he had left after trying to protect Dorian earlier.
Yeah, it was already starting to flake.
But he doesn't run. He lifts his sword, the sun at his back a comfort, and spreads his arms as the darkness slams into him and blue light surrounds him.
When the pain came, he was not afraid, which is like a throwback
to Lily.
No, to my name is Selena Sardathian, and what is it? And I will not be afraid.
Oh, you're right. I was thinking of Lily.
Lily doesn't even exist yet.
Well, I know, but like Lily went to protect her because it was also. I'm thinking of her protecting her friends. My friends are with me, and I'm not afraid.
I think that quote was a throwback to this quote, but yeah. Also, are you picturing like? What do you mean? He just threw his arms up.
It literally was like, just hit me, just do it. You know, like
also kind of an ick.
I mean, you didn't want to try to pretend to use your sword a little bit. You just like.
It's very Jesus. You know what? It's actually very Jesus symbolism of the sacrifice.
Yeah.
With the arms up. And does he have abs?
It's not funny, but what if the king just tripped him with like sucker and like ran around it? Like, you're just standing there with no sword up. I don't know. It's very, sorry.
Sometimes you can't think about these scenes too much, or when you picture it, you're like, what?
We've just ruined it by asking too many questions. This is a big moment for Chaol. He's sacrificing himself.
He's going to sacrifice himself.
No, you can't. See, and I just lost it again. Okay, so this is a big moment for Chaol. And
let's not take this moment away from him.
He was not afraid, and he's doing this for his friends and family and all those that have been killed already.
He's like looking forward to it being over, but like bad news. Bad news bears.
Spoiler alert. That's where we're going to pick up next week with chapters 73 through 80.
Thank you guys so much for the reviews and ratings. It means the literal world. Every time I see one, it is like the best feeling ever.
Love it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.